The Articles of Confederation were written to unite all of the 13 states. This document was written during a state of war, which was difficult for the delegates to accomplish. However, once they finalized the decision, it was presented to the states for their approval. The document was accepted by all the states in 1781. The Articles of Confederation called for a confederacy, which is a government that gives power to the states. It also addressed the rights of the states, the duties of Congress, and how many votes a state would have in the Continental Congress. The document was functional to the states during the war because they were all fighting to gain their independence from Great Britain. Once the war ended, many implications from the Articles of Confederation were noticed, and the states no longer felt connected. Congress was not able to function the best of its ability because the states were not willing to cooperate and attend assemblies. Congress was unable to tax and was very weak. Because of this, states began to make their own form of currency and trade with different countries. One of the greatest flaws with the governmental system was the weak central government. States did not abide by the Treaty of Paris and, in a way, were bickering with one another. They began to argue over that each state claimed was theirs. The economy was also struggling. There were numerous unsuccessful harvests that resulted in debt for many farmers. Soon ideas to create a strong national government were being formed.
The basic principles of the Constitution are separation of powers, checks and balances, and federalism. A federal system maintained that power would be divided between the state governments and the national government. They wanted to divide the power but still have a strong national government in order for the government to function properly. Separation of powers was created to divide the power between the three branches of government, so one branch could not become more powerful than another branch. Each branch has certain duties they fulfill. The legislative branch creates laws, the executive branch applies the laws, and the judicial branch elucidates the laws. Checks and balances helps the concept of the separation of power function smoothly. Although the branches all have certain jobs, they do not have control over one certain activity. The power of each branch is checked and balanced by the Supreme Court, Congress, the President, and the Senate. For example, Congress, the Supreme Court, and the Senate can monitor the decisions of the President and balance the amount of control he or she has.
I, as Virginia, think we need a strong central government in a two-house legislature. Who agrees with me?
You're wrong, Virginia! I, as New Jersey, think we need to fix these articles to make them more sound, and we need a one-house legislature.
No! A two-house legislature is necessary. No, two!
Stop! We need to combine these to make the great compromise. Alright.
Gotcha.
The Great Compromise established a two-house legislature, the House of Representatives and the Senate. The House of Representatives would be chosen by the people, and the Senate would be chosen by the state legislature. Each state has 2 representatives in the Senate. The House of Representatives is based on the population of the state. The larger the population, the more representatives that state has in the House. The large states and the small states agreed on this compromise.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our prosperity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America.
The preamble of the Constitution was very strongly written, and for the first time in American history, addressed the states as one unit. The Constitution emphasized America's separation from the Crown and enumerated the wrongdoings of the British rule towards the colonists. In addition to the preamble, the Constitution has 7 articles. These articles define each branch of government, addresses concerns regarding the power of each branch, and outlines the connection between all the states. Article 1 highlights the legislative branch and establishes prerequisites to become a member of the House of Representatives and the Senate. Section 8 of this article lists the enumerated laws, explains the necessary and proper clause, and defines implied power. Article 2 of the Constitution explains the power of the executive branch. It discusses the term of office for the president. If the president is not able to perform his or her duties, this article establishes who would take his or her place. Article 3 of the Constitution establishes the judicial branch and creates the Supreme Court. It also developed the option of a lower court system, but it is not required. The lower court system and federal court system would work hand in hand. Article 4 highlights that states must respect the laws of other states. Article 5 discusses how additional amendments can be added to the Constitution. Article 6 contains the Supremacy Clause, which states that the federal law comes before other laws passed by the states. The final article of the Constitution, Article 7, outlines the requirements for the acceptance of this document.
How should a slave be counted towards the population of a state?
Each slave should be counted as part of the population.
But they don't even have the same rights as a regular person in your state.
But they are a whole person, so they should be counted as a whole person.
Then you should give them the same rights.
Why don't we compromise and a slave can be counted as 3/5 of the population?
Okay.
For the population.
The framers expected there to be resistance towards the U.S. Constitution, but they were determined to have it ratified by the states. The delegates compelled the states to order a ratifying convention to review the Constitution. The Constitution was sent to the states for their vote after the Second Constitutional Congress meeting. The states feared many proposals written in the Constitution, such as a strong central government and a new financial policy. Also, wealthy people favored the Constitution, but the middle and lower classes were hesitant about the taxes. Those who favored the Constitution were known as Federalists, and those who were against the Constitution were known as Anti-Federalists. The Anti-Federalists feared a strong central government because they did not want it to affect their liberal ways. Both of these groups discussed the advantages and disadvantages of the document. The newspaper was a tool utilized by both groups in order to persuade people to agree with them. Federalist Papers number 10 and 51 are known to be the most famous. Letter number 10 argues that the best way to run fractions is a republic. Number 51 highlights the benefits of the separation of power between the national government and the state government. Many states agreed with the Constitution very quickly, such as Delaware and New Jersey. These states were happy to receive the small amount of representation in the Senate as the larger states. New York and Pennsylvania still waited to accept the Constitution. Both these states suggested a Bill of Rights be added to the Constitution. Finally, in 1790, all states had accepted the Constitution. The First Amendment guarantees freedom of speech, press, religion, assembly, and petition.
Speech, press,
Petition.
assembly, religion.
The Second Amendment guarantees the right to bear arms.
The Second Amendment, I have the right to bear arms.
The Third Amendment guarantees freedom from quartering troops.
I'm a troop. I have to sleep here.
No, this is my house. I have freedom from quartering troops.
Oh.
The Fourth Amendment guarantees freedom from search and seizure without a search warrant or probable cause.
Do you have a warrant?
No?
According to the Fourth Amendment, you need to leave.
and guarantees the right to a grand jury, no self-incrimination, and no double jeopardy. Get out of the car. Out. Get off your phone.
I'll be back.
Off your phone. Hands behind your back. You're under arrest.
I have not been informed of my Miranda rights.
Oh no.
The Sixth Amendment guarantees a right to a speedy and public trial by jury, to an attorney or lawyer to be informed of charges.
The Seventh Amendment guarantees trial by jury.
I'm happy to announce that thanks to the Seventh Amendment, you get a jury, you get a jury! The Eighth Amendment guarantees freedom from excessive bail and cruel and unusual punishment.
You have to do 1,000 squats with that watermelon.
You know what, Megan? According to the 8th Amendment, that is a cruel and unusual punishment.
The Ninth Amendment guarantees rights not listed in the Constitution. Example, right to privacy.
What are you doing?
I'm monitoring your internet.
According to the Ninth Amendment, I have the right to privacy.
The 10th Amendment states that rights not listed in the Constitution are reserved to the people and states.
The 11th Amendment states that a state cannot sue another state. Foreigners may not sue a state they are not a citizen of.
The 12th Amendment guarantees presidents and vice presidents are voted for on separate ballots. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery, while the 14th Amendment gave them all citizenship. The 15th Amendment allowed for all males to vote.
The 16th Amendment established income tax.
The 17th Amendment allowed citizens to directly elect senators.
No.
Who in here is a woman? Well, according to the 19th Amendment, you get to vote! You get to vote! You get to vote!
The 20th Amendment established the inauguration date and determined who takes the place of the president if he or she dies.
The 21st Amendment repealed the 18th Amendment. I have the right to drink my wine.
Go for it.
The 22nd Amendment limits the president to only 2 terms.
The 23rd Amendment gives citizens of Washington, D.C. the right to vote for president.
The 24th Amendment abolished the poll tax.
The 25th Amendment states what happens if a president dies, resigns, or cannot do his or her job. The vice president will take over for the president, the Speaker of the House will take over for the vice president, or the Secretary of Senate will take over for the Speaker of the House.
The 26th Amendment changed the voting age from 21 to 18.
The 27th Amendment limits congressional pay. If Congress gives themselves a raise, it is not put into effect until the following year.
Listen up, y'all.
When I wake up,
Press.
I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who.
No one agrees with you, Virginia.
Then I know I'm gonna be the man who gets drunk next to you. And if I heaver, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's heavering to you. But I will walk by.
Wait, no, what she has?
I don't know what I have.
Right to privacy.
I'm gonna be the man who's working hard.